Welcome back, everybody. This is the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage. You are looking at an upside down cover that goes to my Morse 6100 model. This is the white and blue sewing machine that surprised me when I got it. I was looking for a case, and for $9.99 I not only got a case, I got a machine that was worth restoring, and I did, and I've actually made some videos on that. When I got it, one side of the lid would not attach to the base, and the reason was I didn't realize it, when I first got the machine. But inside, thankfully, in the accessory box were pieces, and this piece right here, which is, when you look at it on the outside, that's the clip, right? And the screws were missing, which is why the clip was not attached to the case as it should be. Fortunately, the clip was here, and I wasn't sure how it was supposed to look, so I looked at the other side where I do have the clip with the screws, and everything looked fine. Now, on this end here, I had this attached, and it was loosely attached. And that told me, because it was loose and I could see the other clip, I realized that that was, in fact, a cover to simply, it's just attached with adhesive, and it was there to basically prevent these little rough edges from scratching anything. It's like just sort of a protection, if you will. And because this one was just sort of hanging, I went ahead and pulled it off. And so now that I have screwed this, the clip that was not attached, I have put it back on, and you can see it on the other side. And of course, its cover pad was totally off, but it too was in the accessory box, and I was very happy to see that. So I basically have these two, and I want to reattach them. Now, when I went to attach the clip, I needed 3 screws. I went to the hardware store. They didn't have any small enough, and so what did I do? I ended up going through my stash, and now you know why I tell people, if you work on anything at home, in this case sewing machines, this is a little box I have of screws, hex nuts, and all kinds of doodahs that I have collected over the years, and I keep them, and I'm glad I did, because here where I live, there are specialty stores you can go to. Fastenal is one, and there's another one that you can get specialty hardware. But to save myself that trip and that time, I went through my stash, and sure enough, I found 4, and I'm going to use 3 of those 4. Actually, I have, and I reattached it. It's nice and sturdy. They fit. Remember, you always have to test to make sure that the screw threads or the bolt threads match up with the hole. If it fights you, don't force it, or you'll make things worse for yourself. So what's left to do to get this back as it should be? I am going to attach these little plastic pieces, and you know what? They stayed glued to metal for, oh gosh, this is what, 1968. It still has a metal hand wheel, so a half century. I'm not disappointed when you're considering this was adhesive. So what am I going to do to attach it? What do I need? Well, I've got my little plastic pieces here, and let's zoom in a bit for you all. What do I need at this point? Well, I need a couple things. I need some clamps. I have some clamps here. These are called Quick Grip, but any clamp that you have will work. And I'll show, I think I've actually shown these before on the channel. And basically what I have to do is I push this in, and then these are padded, okay? And then when I let go, as I squeeze this, it draws it in, and I'm basically going to put it under pressure. Getting anything plastic to glue to metal will work if you have the right adhesive, but you still need to apply pressure. So I am going to be using this. Now, this is something I got at an automotive supply store. I may have shown this in my tools videos in the past. It says 3M plastic and emblem adhesive. Now, this product, I think they may have reformulated. I bought this a while back, and it's probably reaching the end of its life. Things like glues and adhesives paints. These products have a certain shelf life, and I've taken really good care of this because I paid a lot of money for it when I bought it. This is a very advanced adhesive because it is used to attach a lot of the plastic trim that you find on automobiles to metal, right? Really old cars, they used to drill into the side of the car and attach the trim with some sort of fastener or bolts. But for many years now, they've simply glued it on because it's better at preventing rust in the car. In any case, this stuff is like any product. After a while, it doesn't work as well anymore. Now, it's still in a good liquid state. I'm going to try it this time, and I may have to replace this. There's a lot of solvent. If you ever use this stuff, it's very stinky, so get yourself some really good ventilation or use it outside. I am typically more sensitive, I think, than some to smells, but you know your own tolerance for this stuff, so keep that in mind. All right, now, what am I going to do? So I'm going to follow the directions. The directions say, on this particular product, you apply the glue, and then you attach something like this, and then you pull it back. And I'm not sure why and how all this works. I'm not sure what it does. But anyway, this thing, by the way, goes on one way. You'll notice it's got 3 little divots, and those divots should go sort of like a smiley face, at least upside down, because we got the case upside down. And that'll be true with both. So I am going to apply some of this. If it hasn't dried out, we will know very quickly. Woo! So, well, it's not dried out. I now have it more on me than on the machine. So I'm just going to spread it here. It's kind of like got the consistency of honey, I think would be the best way to describe it. Right? So there we go. That's plenty. I'm going to, what am I going to do here? I'm going to attach this like that, right, as if that were permanent. And I hold it a certain amount of time, and then I'm going to, I believe I have to hold it for 20 seconds or something like that. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I read the instructions. Now I'm going to pull back. And you can see, so it looks like a little stringiness there. I don't know why. Now I'm going to go back once more, get it lined up on the place that it's the little metal divots it's trying to cover, and I'm simply going to take. I'll do this. See if I can demonstrate this a little bit better for you. And you remember I was sort of squeezing this thing, and now. Make sure I'm getting this in the camera for you guys. So I'm going to simply hold this thing in place. The glue has sort of got it, right? Let's get you all closer in, or you're not going to be able to see anything. Okay, what am I doing? I've got my piece here. It's still where it needs to be. It hasn't. It's sort of wanting to pop off because the glue has obviously not cured. But before it comes off, but I do have it lined up properly, I'm simply going to take my clamp and squeeze it together. And I basically am going to squeeze it hard enough so that it stays, it basically applies the pressure and keeps it there. And that should allow the glue to cure. I'll have to go back. I forget if it's, I don't know if it's a couple hours or 12 hours. I don't remember. They put so much labeling on these boxes that it's tiny. I'll need a magnifying glass to read it. But I have used this product before, and it works well. It's worked quite well, actually. Okay, we'll do the other side. See if I can get I got one clamp. Now these clamps they have a long reach, so you have to be careful you don't bump into things and knock the clamp off. See if we can do it from this angle, or maybe like that. All right, what am I missing? I've got one more to apply, and again, it's going to go with sort of in this direction. And you can see where it used to sit. It sat right there. So I'll do the same thing with this one. And with this one here, I can actually, you can apply it to either surface, right? Either to the side of the case. In this situation, I'll just put it right on the little plastic piece. And again, you know what? Is it possible if you don't have this? Let's say you have a machine case and you're missing something like this. As long as this thing does not go directly onto the as long as it's not scraping right up against your machine, you'll probably be okay. You know, I wouldn't say it's the end of the world if you didn't have it, but I have the parts. This is what it was designed, you know, it was designed to be set up this way. I thought, well, why not, you know? Okay, I'm going to pull it apart. You can see it's a little stringy here. It does that when it's exposed to air, right? So then I'm going to come back, and right now it's just sort of tacky sitting there. I obviously don't want to just leave it like that. What's my next move here? I need a rag because I have glue. If you've ever squeezed glue out of a tube, you know it'll keep coming out after you stop squeezing. So I want to deal with that. Otherwise, I'm going to have a little puddle of glue over here, and I would prefer not to. To be honest, I'm actually quite impressed that this glue has lasted. I think I bought this stuff. Oh, gosh. I think I bought this glue. Honestly, it's been years, and I've taken great pains to make sure that the glue didn't dry out, and I just got lucky, to be honest. You know. All right, so we're going to take the same. This is the other clamp, same type, right? Let's come up just a bit here. All right, so I'm going to pull. No, I'm going to push. Right, and when I do, that gives me my room. It works kind of like a caulking gun, right? It's very simple. And now I've got it wide enough. I'm going to pull to get my gap narrowed there. If you've ever used a clamp to help hold something for any purpose, this is not going to be a new concept for any of you. And I want to come down and make sure I'm supporting this without knocking the camera over, which, as you all know, I have a talent for. All right, so I'm going to squeeze, and that's it, right? That's really all I need to do. And let's see here. I'm going to just get a little bit of that excess glue off of there. And all that's left now, where are all my Q-tips when I need them? My cotton swab collection here. I'll take a few cotton swabs and go around the edge. I'll come over here, make sure I don't have any excess. This is not an area that ever actually really gets looked at, so it's not as if, you know, it's not like I'm worried about it not being pretty, but, you know, no reason to be sloppy. You know, take pride in your work, whatever you're doing. It's not horrible to do. Just taking up some of the excess glue here. No reason to have a bunch, but I'm not going to remove all of it. Some of that will be sealing up around the plastic edge. And there we have it. There you go. It is now ready to sit. And because I was able to find another screw to help attach the bed extension, this machine is ready to go. It is ready for a new home. And again, I could have just left this. I could have just said, here's a case, just put the cover on. You know, it kind of works. But I didn't want to do that because I'm selling machines that have been gone through. And I go through everything that I possibly can that I have parts for. And that's something that, again, as I've mentioned many times to all of you, you should always ask when someone says they've overhauled something. Well, ask them what they did. Maybe they did enough to your satisfaction, but it would be nice to know before you decide how much you're going to pay. So there you have it. We are using, basic tools here, sort of a fancy adhesive, because getting plastic and metal to glue to each other is not easy. I would not try this with like an Elmer's water-based glue. Wouldn't try that. Maybe you have. I really want this industrial adhesive. Again, I say industrial. I got it in a car parts place because people, their plastic trim comes off their car sometimes and they have to reattach it. And it's not hard. It's just basic skills here. I've got some clamps, and again, I'll probably let this sit for 12 hours. I'll go back and read the box. I suspect it's going to be at least 12 hours. And then if I'm not sure, I can wait 24. It's not going to hurt anything. And then I'll release the clamps, and this case will basically be ready for a new life, as is the sewing machine that it takes care of and holds on to. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next video.